Hello, Herbert. It's a boat! Erpaderp. That is one of my names. How you doing, Trekan? Martha Dennis, I hope you're both well. It's an Australian submarine. That's why it's upside down. Ha ha ha. Also, my green screen is being a bit wonk. That's better enough. Nobody really gives a toss. You can't tell when the white thing is out of the way. I decided, because it was cheap and because it's Australian, maybe it was worth building an Australian submarine. So that's what I'm doing today. It's kind of annoying that the instructions are on the back of the box, but it should be pretty simple. Australian submarine, so it fires VBs? Yup. You fucking watch out for those VB long neck torpedoes at 20 to 8 in the morning. Get that up, you dog cunt. Okay, there is photo etch in this kit, and it's kind of funny. It's just a nameplate. You can see that because of the glare. It says HMAS Collins class submarine. That seems a bit of an oversight. They forgot submarine. I am a floating head. Also, the tower thingy is clear, and the instructions say to paint the inside of it black before gluing it to the hull. I can't figure out why, though. Like, surely it's the same if you spray the entire thing black from the outside. So that's what I'm going to do. Not many parts to it. So this is going to be quick, probably. I think the first thing to do... Also, I'm going to test if it floats at some point. Not today. Not on stream. I don't feel like bringing my entire setup out to the kitchen. That sounds annoying. I was convinced it was called HMAS Piss. Well, Collins is the first of the class. The next one was probably called Piss. I believe they were named after, famous, or maybe not famous, admirals in World War II, I think. Or maybe just conflicts in which Australia existed. I remember when I was a kid hearing all the time about all the problems Collins-class submarines had. Don't remember any of the details, of course. I'm gonna build the display stand because I think that might actually help with construction. Do I got a weird icon on you? I don't see any weird icons. Oh no. I don't know how much effort I should put into cleaning this up. But maybe some. Admirals have to piss too. Everyone has to piss. Right now. Do it. Do it now. Okay, I think, yes, the pattern goes on the inside. I'm trying to shove the part into the slot that doesn't go all the way through the part. What a fool. Might as well get rid of these nubbins. What sort of nubbin killer would I be if I allowed these nubbins to survive? Wasted all your time at a terrible stream and now you've got to go. Well, I'm not getting up earlier to start streaming earlier. I don't feel like there would be any reward for that. Unless people start paying me to show up in, like, very early morning. Good evening, Mr. Corvus. How are you doing? Good evening. You do know that it's not evening in the one time zone that exists in the world, Corvus? Hot, tired, and all the other bad adjectives. Man, all of them. Wiki says Collins class had constant problems with the US weapon systems. They were sold in 2007, 11 years after the first submarine entered service. Yeah, things like that. Also, delays in getting it built. Problems with, like... I think there was welding problems on sections of at least Collins that were done in... I forget where they did some of it overseas, because it's designed from whatever that country was. Alright, the most exciting part of the submarine, the display stand. Hear how epic that music is? Well, that is probably what they did. That's something for future Collins Glass to worry about. And then they did worry about it. Okay. I need to click some buttons on this, because it is very dark. Probably should have adjusted the frame for this. Nah, that's fine. It's fine. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. Also, I wasn't adjusting the settings for video for some fucking reason. Man, I'm bad at whatever it is I'm doing. Hell yeah. I think I probably will paint this because it's not going to be difficult. And I think I will also paint the display stand because this glue is just going to ruin the clear plastic. And I don't especially care about it being clear. Maybe I'll paint it hot pink. the design was Swedish and part of the submarines were made in Sweden. Yeah. And apparently some of the welding was not up to standard or something. You're doing a shit job there, Herbert. That's all coming apart. There's a little recess for the name plaque molded into that. I don't think I'll use the name plaque. It's a bit silly, missing most of the word submarine. Submarines made by IKEA. Do they serve meatballs? I could do with some meatballs. I don't think it's really worth a drive to IKEA for. I'm very suggestible when it comes to food. You may have noticed. That looks... Maybe it won't look as uneven when it stays together. It looks... That's annoying. It looks uneven. I don't think it is. It is slightly bowed there, though. That's probably ready for displaying and standing. But are they spicy? Maybe? You won't get sauerkraut on a Swedish-Australian submarine. I mean, what if they stop over in Germany and load up on sauerkraut? Stolen or otherwise. Germans share their sauerkraut, right? We're allies. We could have sauerkraut in our submarines. Don't tell me we can't. Okay, I don't know if it matters which half of the hull I start with. But there is a nubbin for the propeller that must be installed. This time it's a beneficial nubbin. Get both halves of the hull out because of reasons. The main reason being we need both halves. Otherwise it's going to look a bit silly. Would be kind of interesting to build a cutaway model of one of these. Nobbin. Where is Nobbin? This is Nobbin. Ah, yes, Nobbin. Is it the right Nobbin? There's two of them. A16. We might as well clip this out too. How well are these going to fit together? I hope very. I have never built a showcase model before. Wow, that's really good. If it wasn't for the sprue gates, you know, you could still see a slight gap, but that's very nice fit. Wiki says home base of these subs is Cockburn Sand Island. It's funny because cock, that's a word for penis. Which way around does this go? The tapered end outwards. Nubbin be gone. I think some of the Collinses had problems with their propellers too. Now that I think about all of the problems they had. This one could have problems with its propeller if you apply too much pressure to it. It's very thin where it joins the hub, the middle bit. Get rid of all the nubbins. Otherwise, the nubbin police will come and beat me up. I'm a feeble old man. I can't withstand a beating from the nubbin police. Hey, Explore Norfolk, how you doing? Problems schmoblums. All C are just minor obstacles to overcome. All I see. I can read, I promise. That goes in there. I don't know if it's better to do this before or after putting the Duva inside the hull. Probably before. Yeah, we'll do that. Still not quite nubbin free on the propeller though. I dare say, once this bit's gone, that'll be nubbin free enough. Freedom from the tyranny of nubbins. Third Bren carrier for glider transport. Interesting. I didn't know they used Bren carriers for that. The fit along here was pretty good, so it would be a shame to shit it up by making a mistake with my knife. So I should be careful. Should be careful. I'll just say this kit's a bit of a fraud for the floating series. It's a sub. If it floats, it's fine. If it goes under, it's fine too. But if it just sinks, that's not really fine for a submarine. You want it to submerge to like chosen depths rather than just straight to the bottom. I don't think it's going to do that, but we'll see. I'm expecting, as soon as I put it in the water, it'll just tip over onto its side. Don't know if that counts as floating or not. I guess if it tips over and floats, it's still floating, isn't it? If I was to call the videos, will it float in the intended manner, it would be more accurate, but a bit too wordy. They stripped them down much like the Morris C8 quad tractors. Interesting. Hey, Leonardo, how you doing? Have you seen the German movie from 1981, Das Boot, about a German sub in World War II? I have. Not for a long time, though. Das Boot. I think the thing to do is to glue the propeller together and then stick it into one half of the hull, and then it has time to bond before I stick the other half on while I clean it up. That's possibly using your noodle, Herbert. Don't... oh, you shit. Handling tiny little bits of plastic is tricky. I'm pretty new to it. I just want it to sit straight, but I also want the camera to be able to see it happening. That's the problem. That's the problem these days. It doesn't really seem to want to sit straight. Probably good enough. Plastic nuclear submarine to invade the Carpet Monsters universe. Nope, this is a diesel submarine. Had to read subtitles the whole time. Guess it's because it's a submarine movie. Ha 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 ha! I'm not funny. Would an Australian submarine's conning tower be on the keel? I don't know, but it could be. It probably fits. Yeah, why not? That's had time to bond, so let's see if it wants to just sit in here nice and good with no complaints. You know what? I think I glued that nubbin on backwards. I did. You are the worst person in the world, Herbert. That's probably why it was so tedious to get sitting upright. Where's the mistake button? I need to press it. That's significantly better. That was mistake 50. Hooray! Woo! This is not a thing to celebrate. Hey, Baltasar Gula Shoop. This is made by an Australian company, I think. Showcase Models. And the glue I'm using is from an Australian company. And so are the cutters and knife and probably a bunch of other things. As far as models go, I don't think there's many of them. 50 more to get a prize. Do I have to actually make the mistakes? Or can I just press the mistake button? I could do that 50 times easy. Now that we've built it correctly, now to see if it will sit in place. Seems like jobs are good. You don't want to put crap in there, you want to press down on it. Yes, that ought to be sufficient for our propulsion needs. Hitting the mistake button when there is no mistake is a mistake. But does it still count as a mistake if it's intentionally done? We could go in circles with that, but I won't. Instead, it's time to eliminate more nubbins. Very carefully, so as to not shit up the nice joint. In Germany, we have very good synchronization studios, so movies with subtitles are very rare. I think it's a good thing, because if you have to read, you miss a lot that's going on the screen. That is true. Some people are better at reading quickly than others. I find it distracting. Submarine can do submarine stuff. Get sub to Herbert. Definitely sub to Herbert, especially if you're a submarine. Hard of hearing, so you usually have captions, subtitles on anyway. I guess that's fair. It doesn't really distract me as much if they're on and I don't have to read them. My hearing is also not very good. I don't quite need subtitles. But sometimes I do, because the way they mix the audio for everything nowadays is like 5.1 channels, so it makes all the audio, the dialogue really quiet on 2-channel systems, which is obnoxious. What is the availability of model kits in Australia? Good, I guess. We get the fuck you Australia tax though on most things, so they probably cost more than they do in other places. That looks a little bit rough, so maybe a little bit more scraping is in order. That's probably it. And now watch it not go together at all for no reason. Yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised how good the fit is, because this was a very cheap kit, even before it was on discount when I bought it. Very juicy. That is a thing with translations and captions and stuff. It used to result in some hilarious ones on YouTube videos, but I think that's gotten a lot better. Okay. Now to do it with glue and on camera. This is where the mistakes happen. I don't know. The instructions show the whole parts going together and the bit that goes in here at the same time. Surely it's fine to drop the top bit in after the whole parts are together. What could possibly go wrong? The answer to that question is nothing. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Everything's going to be fine. Probably doesn't really need extra glue, but you know how I feel about the glue god. We can very delicately get a bit more glue in there. We probably need some more at the front, it looks like. Careful, careful. Fuck. Fuck. Just brush along the hole there. Just hold it a bit. Everyone here remembers the famous video game mistranslation, "All your base are belong to us." Ah, classic. Probably don't need to continue videoing myself holding that. I'm just going to delete most of it anyway. In German, ein fetter Brocken is something worth to hunt down. Ein Kent Brockman. You know what? Extra glue in here would be a good idea, but I don't really need to add it until the other part goes in. Then it'll work 2 jobs for the price of 1. That seems pretty solid. That's absolutely what it's going to do when I put it in the water. Oh, it won't do it again. This is why I built the cradle first. There we go. Look at that. It is unfortunate that the display doesn't say submarine correctly. Looks like a funny-sized pencil. I remember as a kid having pencils that were probably like this. Like, from tourist places and stuff. It'd be like that. A submarine pencil. I wonder if you could convert this, put like a mechanical pencil body inside and have it come out there. Who would do such a thing? I probably wouldn't, but I'd think about it. And I'd have a sensible chuckle. Now we're counting on this just dropping into place on top there, and not actually needing to be sandwiched like the instructions kind of imply. Imply, Herbert, or implode? And just feed that to the carpet monster. Ass shits. Now, how has it fallen? Ideally, I don't roll over it with my chair wheels. I was just about to say, I have no idea how a big part like that just vanishes, but it's gone to the other side of the chair. ass shits. You can't defeat me, carpet monster. You perilous fuck. A good synchronization has to think of the viewers. A lot of them don't, I guess. A lot of them would just be like, yeah, good enough. Death to Nobbins. Death to Nobbins. That's it. Time to invade the carpet monster's home. My floor? I mean, fair. It has however many attacks against us in the time we've been recording it. 104. That's quite a few. Quite honestly, acts of war. It's about time we retaliate. The good thing is, most of the time, I shouldn't be saying this, most of the time the carpet monster doesn't get to keep what it takes. Now that I've said that, I'm going to completely lose something very important next time I drop it. Because that's how the world works. I keep looking up expecting to see instructions, but the Burger Panther instructions are there. Carpet Monster has probably collected enough tank parts to build its own armoured division to retaliate. Maybe not in here, but probably across the world. Yep. We could have quite the battle on our hands. I'm afraid people like Mr. Tamir or Mr. Hobby Boss like Carpet Monster attacks is that they like it because they could potentially sell more kits to replace one part. That sounds like the sort of thing a corporation would be into. Are you saying that the Carpet Monster is working with these companies? That looks mostly good. That sounds like something Farmer Herbert would do. Farmer Herbert's a good, hard-working fella. You leave him alone. Farmer Herbert's a bastard who exploits his workers' labor. Barely even pays them in lettuce. We should hang Farmer Herbert. If I had an extra hand... That's pretty good. That's exactly what we want. Don't want it to stay in there. No work, no lettuce, no eat. No live. Your carpet claimed a rather rare vintage Star Wars figure weapon. It's so small we found it 5 years later. Yeah, I'm sure when I move either out or stuff around in this room, I'm going to find a bunch of stuff. Probably way too late for it to be relevant or useful. But I'll put it in my bits box and it'll be good. If you had an extra hand, you would have 1 million viewers. I could green screen. I could make like a green screened extra hand. People would believe that, right? That'd be convincing. 1 million views, here we come. Hell yeah. Very, roof? Very top of hull. Don't know that really needs any extra glue in there, but... Nah, that's fine. And now, for some reason they want the conning tower to have all these little antennas glued on top of it separately. And I feel like that's a poor choice. Because I'm probably going to want to press down on it to apply pressure. Flat Earthers exist so anything is possible. Man, some people are just plain stupid. I've got to get some nubbins off of that before I glue it down. Or rather... No, 2 nubbins, not singular, plural. I'm still really not sure why they'd mold this in clear plastic and want you to paint the inside. Yeah, there we go. Nubbins gone. What would you do if a submarine torpedoed the ice wall that holds all the water on Earth and the oceans drained out into space? I'd laugh and laugh. I'd say, drink up, space. think I've just learned that you can't apply too much pressure to this because the shape of the thing doesn't really grab the part especially firmly. It's looking quite submarine. Building the cradle was first was a good choice. And I suppose now is as good a time as any to put all the doodads on top of the conning tower. You revolting animal! Who did that? There's also control surfaces. 13 and 14. It's probably smart to not put these on the wrong sides. They do seem to have keying. Does that go all the way through and interact with each other? I guess there's one way to find out. Okay, this one is on the near side when it's facing that way. Am I missing bits? No. It's the children who are wrong. These little doodads are going to be kind of annoying to do. Also, they look like they'd be very easy to mix up. For the submarine, you should do a does it sink test. Well, I was going to do the will it float thing. I want to know if it... I'm pretty sure it's just going to tip on its side. It'll probably float, though. The fit is quite good, so it should be pretty watertight, I think. Australia will soon buy the Virginia class, right? I have no idea. I don't really keep up with the news or any military stuff. This music is too loud. I think I might have to do these antennas one by one. Just so I don't mix them all up. Because they're not really all that different in shape. And I'm easily confused. A weight at the bottom of its hull, a long length of plasticine. Well, that defeats the purpose of testing if it'll float or not. If we make it sink, it's not nearly as scientific. Because my testing is very, very science. do think it's a bit less funny to be all like, will it float if it's actually... I guess, in fairness, Schwimmwagen is actually meant to float too. Won't make it sink, the point of balance will keep the tower upright. That also kind of defeats the purpose though. I want it to topple over. If they wanted their kit to float correctly, they would have designed it such. I would wager that actually putting it in water never crossed their minds. Fools. Does this little vaguely phallic item require more cleanup? I'm going to say a little bit. There's a very faint mold line up the top. Don't mix the antennas up. Australian Collins class society members will be annoyed. What are they gonna do? They probably all hang out in the water. I live on land. That's good. Modeler who has no interest in the military. Not specifically no interest in the military. No interest in modern military. Now, I'm not a military fanboy because those people are weird. I find the machinery interesting. Mostly older machinery. So this doesn't count as older machinery. I thought it would be interesting because, well, primarily because the kit was very cheap. And you don't often see a lot of Australian models from any era. That looks like I've gotten rid of the nubbin. I'm going blind in my old age. I can't quite see it. Okay, this is the rearmost antenna. Why not stick it on? It goes with the slightly pointy bit at the top. probably should get this as straight as I can, otherwise that society will come after me. I did mock them that they can't come on land, but they can probably fire missiles onto the land. That would be a bit painful. I think that's probably as straight as it's going to get. It looks like you could model those at different angles if you wanted. I'm going to model them straight. Mostly because I don't actually know if they are a thing that moves up and down. Why is the tower that's what I was asking. I have no idea. The instructions tell you to paint it black on the inside. So if there is portholes, how do you mask it from the inside to not paint over them? I think, because it wasn't on a sprue, I think... Actually, was it on a sprue? No, it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was on a sprue. I think maybe they ordered the wrong plastic when making that part. And they were like, oh shit, people are going to laugh at us if we've done this accidentally. Let's pretend we did it on purpose. Surely that's probably what happened. It does kind of look like there's portholes on the sides there, but I don't think that's actually the case. It doesn't show them on the picture as being any kind of window. And that is leaning over for some reason. They'll probably get nudged many, many more times while putting the other ones on. How does this go on? They probably snickered to themselves when they molded the clear conning tower and thought, heh, that'll throw them for a loop. Maybe they're just being tricksters. Just silly little guys playing harmless japes. And this goes with the slope facing rearward. It's vaguely penis-like. And that's enough to have a sensible chuckle. Pulled an Erpaderp maneuver and got caught speeding in ATS. Fucking pigs. How dare they bill you? They don't stop you for speeding, but how dare they bill you simply for being efficient and quick? I'm sure you were being safe at your high velocity. Now, the next one is A9 and A7. How different do they look? Can you even find them? They're a bit different. Typhoon submarine. Typhoons look pretty cool. I've got, I can't see it, so I don't remember what kind of submarine it is. I've got a smaller Hobby Boss. I think it's like a Type 9 or something. I can't see that either. That one seems even more simple than this one as a kit. I've immediately forgotten what number these parts were, so I have to rely on their shape. Das ist gut. And this one goes forward of the other one. Doing 70 in a 30, 112 in a 48. Well, that's probably just a wee bit illegal, but you'll be alright, they won't take your license. That's a good dad joke. Whenever the Typhoon class sail into the Atlantic, they have to flip their nameplates around to read Hurricane. Here, have a rim shot. Why can't I pick up this tiny little thing with my giganto fingers? Ugh. Looks like it goes around that way. So that's how I'll put it. I feel like as long as these are all really close to straight with each other, it should look fine. But if you get them all wibbly-wobbly at different angles, it'll look silly. Because very rarely are you going to be looking at it directly front on.
Balls.
Exactly. To be fair, the speed dropped from 75, 50, 30 in quick succession. Did you crash into something? Or are you talking about the posted limits? They're just suggestions. That's not true, Herbert, and you know it. You shouldn't be encouraging people to break the law. But Judas Priest do it. Okay, A4, A10, then A8. Probably get rid of that. These antennas are probably the most time-consuming part of the entire build. A10. And the other ones are chonk, so it should be kind of hard to mix them up. I'm not entirely stupid, just a little bit. Budget Freddy could make a song, "We Are the Law Abider." That would probably fit better with the tune from Painkiller. He is the law abider. That works. What do I think modeling will look like in the future? Everything's going to hover. I think modeling probably won't change that much. We'll probably see more commercially available 3D files to print yourself, I think. But I think a lot of people still like the act of putting stuff together from a kit. I'm kind of hoping the future of modeling includes more, what's the word? Less common things, fewer Shermans and Tigers and more Tog 2s. But probably not. More unique specimens is what I'd like to see. And with 3D printing and things like that, we probably can see more unique stuff. Still, probably not in molded plastic kits. Because that shit be expensive. More dick tanks! Exactly. Doesn't SC have a minimum speed limit, or is that just on the highways? I think everywhere should have a minimum speed limit, and it should be enforced. Damn it. I'm just sick of being stuck behind cunts doing 10 to 20 under the speed limit for no reason everywhere I go. So no little blue-haired ladies in big black Oldsmobiles on SC interstates. They shouldn't be anywhere. $20 under the speed limit? Man, that's annoying, especially if the speed limit is 25. Ooh, I'd be hopping mad. I'd probably actually get mad if that were happening. Most of the time, it's just like, oh man, this is annoying. Also, by 10 to 20, I mean kilometers an hour. Most places don't have a speed limit of 25 kilometers an hour, thankfully. But even 50 in the 70 zone, going from near my place to the shop, makes it take so much longer. Three antennas. Hee 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 hee. Now I have to look closer to make sure that I'm not about to mess this up. The slightly thicker one is the forwardmost one. Tractors. I guess the tractor can't really help being slow. Sunday drivers can fuck the hell off. 5 or 6 tractors in it. The last time I was stuck behind a tractor, it was a weed sprayer. The really tall ones with the boom. And I was so tempted to just try and drive under it. But I didn't. Ain't got any minimum limits, just guys with buzz cuts in silver cars that pull you over for even daydreaming about speeding. Bastards! Though I guess I can see how a minimum speed would be kind of just lead to more revenue raising by pigs. I'm not sure we have a minimum limit. I do know a traffic cop, sorta. And she would be the person to ask. Or you could just Google it, I guess. Where's the fun in that? I'm having trouble figuring out which way around this goes. And picking it up. Side view is very helpful. NC loves out-of-state drivers. Usually drive 5 over anywhere, but not in... Why use taxes to pay the bills when you can just raise revenues with tickets and not use that the way you'd use tax money? That's sub is going under music. Unintended going under, it sounds like to me. This is the part in the movie where, like, the hero sub has taken a massive hit and is sinking and is about to have a glorious miracle and come triumphantly charging back into the battle. That is ever so slightly twisted in a way I don't like. See, now the sub is returning to the battle. Some very brave models come from Asia. Tigers and Shermans always sell. Seen noodle shops. Yeah, I watched Ian on Loading Ready Run recently, like a couple of weeks ago, was building a model of some sushi. Individual pieces of rice. And you might think, well, that's silly, and it is. But it's silly in a fun way. Look at that. I think they're all in the correct order. And they're all relatively straight and neat. They all do various things. And having that on the display stand means it shouldn't roll over and knock them out of position. Why you got so much road, South Carolina? Wonder if any modern subs have sank from someone leaning on the dive plane controls. Probably not, but the ridiculousness enjoyer in me kind of hopes so. Just like a little bit of an oopsie doodle. We sank the submarine because we weren't careful about what we were leaning on. You know how it is. And now we've got a weird protrusion that sticks out the back. Probably some kind of instrument or antenna. Might as well get the rear fins. Are they all the same? No. We got A1s and A2s. They look the same. A1 to the left of me. Joker's to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. How many models have I refuse to even try to count. A lot. I've been back into modeling since 2011, 2010. And I think I've been making videos and stuff about it for quite a while too. Excuse me. In 1863, the Hunley sank because the captain stepped on the dive plane control. That's kind of funny. Also, the fish boat is a much better name than Hunley. I guess I can see why they might name it after him. The Kursk sank because during loading a torpedo crashed on the dock, but they thought, nah, it's probably fine. Put it on the sub. Turned out it wasn't fine. I don't really remember. I've read about that, but I don't remember it. Retaining information is difficult when you're stupid. I don't know if I've clipped too much of this part. Some of that might be sprue. I think it might be. That leaves a very thin bit at the tip of the Y, V shape, rather. Very thin bit that now needs pressure applied to it. If only a tiny bit. Retaining information is difficult when your head is filled with useless trivia from the 80s song and 80s song lyrics. I barely remember any 80s song lyrics. I guess maybe for me it's filled with useless bass riffs from the 80s and 90s and today. This is very breakable because it's got a thin bit in it right there. But I didn't break it. That's nice. It's been harder to retain information ever since I started plumbing with PVC glue in unventilated spaces. Hey, maybe that's my problem too, with the extra thin cement. I don't have any neurological damage. They tell you not to do that on the packaging, but I forget. Ventilation is important. With all things. Where in Australia do you live approximately? I live near Brisbane. Basically on the edge of Brisbane. I live life on the edge, man. Okay, that's the slot for the control planes, or whatever they're called. This goes on those raised lumpies, I think. So it probably makes more sense to glue it to this first. And also probably makes sense to make sure it's around the right way when you do so. And I think that's the right way. It looks the right way. Therefore, it is the right way. Most times, I'm sure there will be no way to get ventilation where you are working anyway. That can be a problem. Just don't breathe. Easy. It ain't very breezy under houses. I mean, some houses. You probably don't have Queenslanders where you live, but they're breezy under those. Piss. Now, try to do it quickly, just in case that needs nudging. Probably want to refocus on that. Ass shits. Several thousand ass shits. That's not sitting right. That seems appropriate. I'm looking forward to the building video when you use all the technical terms, Subsurgeon Herbert. Yep. I will certainly do that. I know all of the technical terms, and I very much care about using all of the correct terminology. In Europe, you hear very little about Australia. What is life like there? I guess it's pretty good. We don't have the worst things happening in the world. It could be better. I've never lived anywhere else to really tell. It's probably very similar to any regular, that's not the right word, any Western place, really. With obvious differences, you can call people cunt as much as you want, and they probably won't get upset. On older houses, they're more like slither spaces. I can't imagine it being pleasant working in what you would describe as a slither space. I guess living in Australia is like living in Germany, just without the sauerkraut and invading Poland. Pretty much. We have to import the sauerkraut. We can't just step outside and scoop it up. And Poland is way too far away. I can't remember which one of these I put where. And I'm not entirely sure it really matters that much. We have a pretty good social system. They're trying to make it more like the US, the rich people and politicians and such, but at the moment it's still fairly good. You can go to the doctor mostly for free. I don't pay anything for insulin or diabetes supplies. You can get unemployment money and such. The cops probably won't mag dump you just for looking funny. How different are these? It looks to me like not different. I can't tell. Just can't tell. Well, I guess when it comes time to do the build video, somebody will yell at me if it's wrong. Here in the USA, I ain't gotta pay for insulin either, although I don't have diabetes. That might explain it. I feel bad every time I hear about people who have to, like, ration their insulin and stuff, or go to Canada, because it costs so much for no real reason. Well, it is a real reason, but no good reason. I'm just gonna put these on and hope for the best. Because they seem identical. And who's gonna punish me if it's wrong? The Collins class control thingy society? Huh. Looks good. I would assume there's a bit of a gap between these and the hull, but it probably shouldn't be huge. I'm just going to put these on and hope for the best. That's what all sailors on a sub want to hear. Yeah. I do understand, or think I understand, that they don't have enough crews for these, for all of the Collinses. Maybe that's why. Because I heard someone building them and go, yeah, that's probably good enough. I'll hope for the best. One more. And I think that might be it. The rest of the instruction is markings. Oh, you silly little thing. Camera can't see that. Great. It forms an X, which marks the spot. Therefore, the treasure is in here. I know how submarines work. Hey, Herbert finished a model in one stream. I do that sometimes. Also in under 2 hours. I did choose this because I thought I could get it done in one stream. Because I have 2 other things I want to video on the Spinny Boy today. One of them being this, which is finished now. The amalgamated switch suppliers. It's got a little light above the front door, which lights up. I think that's pretty nifty. And if you're a patron, I'll probably be able to get that video done by Thursday. I hope. Otherwise, it'll be Friday. One stream for you and your house. That is... I had that box to look at the instructions. That is all the bits. There's decals. You get a flag. But no flag pole. Odd. I do kind of like that you get the launch decals. This banner thingy. It says Collins on it. And is launch only. I'm also considering painting this fairly soon. Because that'll be really simple. I probably wouldn't even need to put an additional black over the primer coat. And I don't think there's, other than the propeller, there's any other colours to add, so it would just be light weathering. Someone has to stand on the deck and hold the flag in the wind while someone wails the Australian guitar, the anthem on guitar. And they have to stay there while they submerge. That's what the nubbin on the top is for. That's where they stand. That's like got a little handle on the back that they can hold on to. Hope you can hold your breath. That's gonna be it for me. That was a good build. I really enjoyed that. A lot better than I was expecting, considering I think it normally only costs about $20, $20 or $30 for this kit. And I'm hoping, I don't know, but if they do have any more kits, I'll probably buy one from Showcase Models in the future. That is the name, right? Yes. Let's see if there's anybody to do a raid at on the Twitch. I will be back tomorrow night, almost certainly for some more Burger Panther. Finished the tracks, so it's time for more Hull shenaniganry. I'm not going to do a raid. I'm too lazy to try find someone doing stuff. Actually, no, I'll raid Kate because she's doing her subathon. And I'll probably watch her when I eat my lunch. Let's do the clicky of the buttons. I know how to do this. They've changed it so that it's slightly more steps. Alright, click this, start raid. I'll be back tomorrow. I may play a video game tonight, but probably not. Don't forget to praise the glue god. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you later. Toodaloo!